Hello everybody, I'm on another block demonstration. This is month number 5, July, I'm a bit behind I think. Ohio stars, some sashing and checkerboards, so not difficult at all. What you've got in your kit are the pieces for your Ohios. You'll notice here we've got, it's exactly the same technique, they're just different colourways. And the only difference is in the light background one, so this one here, you get 4 squares of light and 1 of dark. And then for the dark one, you get 4 squares of dark and 1 of light. And then the first one's repeated again. So if I were you, what I'd do first is I would take out, oh no, I'm gonna put that over there. I'm not in my normal surroundings today, as you can probably tell. So what I would do, I would take out first, we're going to make this one the first one in the row. So I'm going to take 4 light squares and a dark square, all the same cut size and the smallest squares that you've got in your packet. Okay, so don't do it with the big ones, do it with the small ones. So we're using that one. So I've split these before I started into 4 lights and a dark, 4 lights and a dark, 4 darks and a light. Work one at a time. So I'm going to take these 2 away because this is the one that I'm going to be working with at this very moment. So it's my favourite block, apart from hexagons obviously. So my favourite block, pieced block, Ohio star. And this process we're using, we're not cutting lots of little triangles separately. We're doing fast pieced quarter square triangles. So that's what we're doing. So the first thing you do, can you come back down here, Mark? Is take a light and a dark, like so, draw a diagonal line, corner to corner, pop a little pin in if you want to, that's entirely up to you.
Right sides together.
Oh, good. Right sides together. And we're going to stitch, as if by magic, either side, which you probably can't even see, look. Either side, 1/4 of an inch either side of the line. Now by now I would think, you know, you're all familiar with your 1/4 inch seams, hopefully, luckily, whatever. If you're not sure, you know, just keep practicing and it'll come in the end. So we're going to stitch either side of the drawn line.
And that you've done on that demonstration piece there.
Yep. So that's stage 2. These pictures are all in the pattern, so don't worry, you don't got to. You can stop and start me, or you can look at the pattern, entirely up to you. So this is what I've just described to you, right? I've stitched there. Now what you've got to do, you've got to cut this into 4. So you're going to cut along this line here. And if you want to, you can draw your other diagonal. If you can see, there's no stitching here, look. There's only stitching on the bit we've done previously. So
isn't it easier to draw the line across first because you've got point to point to go to? Otherwise you
can if you want to, yeah.
I think it is. It would be.
But you don't have to draw the line.
No.
If you know what you're doing, you can use your rotary cutting equipment. Yeah. If you're cutting by scissors, definitely draw the line. So that goes like so. That's what we've done. We've stitched either side of this line. Okay, line, stitched either side. This is exactly the same, stitched either side of the line. I've just drawn another line on there. Okay, then what you do after that, you cut this into 4 like so with your scissors if you've drawn a line, with your rotary cutter if not. The important thing is not to move it. So I'm going to just show you so you understand what I'm saying, and I've got to stand up because I can't cut sitting down. So take your rule and cut across one diagonal. Nice firm hand on here, you don't want to slip, and cut through. Do not move anything, do not move anything. It's probably written in capitals in the pattern, I think.
And even in red.
Or even in red, yeah. And then you're going to cut the other way, right? So like that. Move your body so that you're this way. Don't try standing here. See, you can see my ruler's moved already if you want to do that. Don't stand here and do, my blade's closed, and do this. That's really bad, isn't it, Mark? Don't do it.
Not good for you.
Not good. You'll never get accuracy. You might slip, cut your finger. So you put your rule on the other way, like that, and you turn your whole body so that you're cutting straight again. That's what you do. So I'm pressing quite hard. This blade's not great, but it's all I've got with me. And you split that as if by magic into 4 pieces, which will be 2 colours each. So what you do next, I'm going to move that back, Mark. You take these and you press them to the darkest side. So put them on your mat like so, like that. Lift it up, press away from you. The reason you do this method, it's easier, is because, I'll tell you again, it's called a fast piece quarter square triangle, in case you want to impress your friends. If you cut triangles, just triangles, you end up with all your bias edges on the outside of your blocks. And if we can avoid that, you know, I know you're probably not interested, but you know, if we can avoid it, it helps. And that's the sort of thing I have to think of on you, Mike, when you progress to designing your own quilts, to try and keep that, because you don't get waviness in your quilt then. So we're just pressing away from us towards the dark, and this is the reason we're using this technique. But if you've got like millions of scraps, you could always, you know, cut them into triangles and use them. You could always like cut triangles. If you've got lots of scrap you want to use, you just have to be careful because you don't want to stretch. See how stretchy that is across there? You don't want that edge on the outside of your block. Okay. Once you get to that stage, so I'll put that back down. I've got 4 here that I've just done, pressed, cut, what have you. So you pick these up and you might go, okay, I'll put that one there. And we want to get opposite colours together, and you go, oh my goodness, it doesn't work. Now, I've had people do this all the time. Because you've done the operation in pairs, it will work. You've just got two the same incorrect together. So you go like so. So I'm going to go like that so you can see it. So you've got a light against a dark and a dark against a light, and you'll do the same thing again with a light against a dark and a dark against a light. I'll put it that way because you can see then the exact difference. They're not different, they're the same, but you can see them in the same position. It always helps my eye if I can see them in the same position. Okay, so now we've got 2 pieces to join together to make squares. Now I'm just going to talk you through that so that you can see what you're doing. Turn it over and click these seams together, right? Now this is really easy because you can feel them. So you can see there, look how they click together so that your dark and your light lines are perfect. Now, if you're a bit, you know, unsure and you prefer, you can pin this seam, you can tack this seam, you can do it however you want to get the best result. Take your time. Mark is telling me to move. You can come to me. So here we go. I'm going to stitch this 1/4 inch seam now. You could tack it or pin it, as I've said. So under your sewing machine, this is my 1/4 inch foot on this machine. I'm just going to stitch. Just take your time. Don't stretch like that. Let the machine do the work and stitch. Nicely, slowly, gently. Take your pin out when you get there. When you open him up, fingers crossed and wind in the right direction, you see that point in the middle? That's because you clicked them together at that point there. Okay, now you're going to press, doesn't matter which way, either way doesn't make any difference. So I'm just going to take it to the ironing board and press away from me, same technique, not too much of this, away from me. I haven't got any steam in my iron today because sometimes it fogs up the camera and marks this clear, this close. And it, you know, you can see it does make it flat, but I do usually have some steam in. So that is that one there. So you can see how much it's shrunk. Look, people think, oh, it's too small now. It's not too small. So I'll just do the other one so I can show you the placement. So again, I'm locking my seams together in the center, taking my time and stitching all the way down this seam. If you don't use a pin, like depends how experienced you are, but if you're beginner, you know, just doing one tacking stitch in the middle if you want to, but then try it without, and you'll feel it. You feel the difference, and you can feel where they lock together. And that's part of, you know, once we all get more experienced at things, they become easier, don't they? And that's the reason, because you just look at that. I dread opening them, because you know, I sometimes mind if I go too fast, or you know, I'm rushing about. They're not perfect, but the aim of the game is to try and get them perfect. Okay, so let's take our, I'm going to move those because those are samples. Take my little originals that I put set aside to construct my block. I'm going to put this in the middle. Is that okay there, Mark?
Yep, it's lovely.
I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put that there. I know what I'm doing, but like, you just look at the picture, because you want your light bits onto your darks. That's what you've got to think. And then you take your 4 squares, like so, like so.
Voila.
Ha-ha. Now, you'll notice on the 1 square, I've clipped off my ears, as you can see. Always better, gets rid of the bulk. So like that there, all I would do, pick it up, snip it off, like so. Just look at the difference. It just reduces the bulk, makes it all look neater. So then that's the layout of your block. We make 2 of these and 1 the other way. I'm not going to stitch them together because we all can stitch a 1/4 inch seam. So join your rows, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. Press them towards the solid square. Don't press them back on themselves towards this seam here. I'm just gonna do that, Mark, because it's important. I'm going to put that onto there like that. Okay. And I'm going to stitch my 1/4 inch seam, and I'm going to just show you the difference of the pressing, which you've probably all cracked by now, but it's no harm in recapping. I like to pretend I'm in the classroom. Well, I am, I suppose, aren't I? Virtual classroom. So that's where it's come from. If you open it out like so, right, just look at it like that. I'm just going to flip it straight over like that. You'll see that these seams want to go towards the solid piece of fabric. They don't want to come back on themselves, because if you press them back, you've got all this bulk, 2, 4, 5, at least 5 layers, and here you've probably got 7. So you don't want to do that. So you just take it and press away from you towards that solid seam. And what that'll, solid piece of fabric, sorry. And what that'll make happen is it lies nice and flat, look, especially if you trimmed your ears. So that these 2 will lie out, this one will lie in, bottom one will lie out, and that makes it easy to click your seams together again when you're joining your rows together. So really simple, really beautiful block. You make 3 of these blocks, and then you've got to join them together with sashing, okay? Now this is your sashing here, there, top and bottom, okay? These are your sashing pieces. Oh, I've got them patterned upside down a little bit, don't matter. Now, there's been a little blip in the system somewhere. Your pieces might measure 1.5 inches here, and they're supposed to measure 1 inch, okay? It's easy to rectify, because you just trim a little bit off the edge. 1/2 inch, no, not a little bit, 1/2 inch exactly off the edge. So you're leaving yourself with this little thin piece, because these will be 9 inches finished, the block itself. So you've got 9, 18, 27 inches. Then you've got 1/2 inch, this will be 1/2 inch that. So, because they're 1 inch now, once they're joined, they become 1/2 inch. So 9, 18, 27, 28, no, 9, 18, 27, 28 inches. As it says here, 28 inches, 28.5 at the moment, because you've got your seam allowance here, don't forget that. So just, if yours are the wrong size, just trim them down. It's not a biggie at all. So that, just bear that in mind. I think it was probably my fault. I'm not going to blame Mark and Sarah. I think it was my fault. So I'm going to pick all this up now. Somebody's dirtied my mat there. And I just want to talk about the other item in this section. It is a checkerboard section, as you could see, top and bottom. Piece of cake, and a good practicing section. So we've got 2 fabrics, and we're just going to join them together alternately like so. Really good way. This is really good practice for your 1/4 inch seam, and you're just going to do them alternately. So when you've got one row all along here, then you do the other, and then you join them together. Nice practice for getting your seams locked together as well. So use this as a real practice. You could do this first actually if you wanted to get, you know, get in the flow of things. So this is your checkerboard sections, and they go top and bottom of the Ohio stars that you've just made. So see the picture again. Okay. So you've joined these with your sashing, put the long sashing top and bottom, then make up your checkerboards and go top and bottom. And if you want to make them first, you can. It's entirely up to you. So that is month number, what was it? 5. And have fun. And any questions, just email me and I'll answer them for you. Okay, see you next time.